Hey everyone, Justin here alongside my colleague Robert, and today we're doing a little Watches and Wonders 2023 roundup.
That's right, a little version of latest news.
Several days later.
From the watch world, which at this point is, everybody has seen it. Everybody knows what's out there.
It's not really news anymore, but that's okay. We're going to give you our hot takes on, what we thought were some winners, what we thought were some losers, and, everything in between.
And it's something we get a lot of. Like this week has been, at least for me, endless calls of people calling to want to know what we think, what seems good, what doesn't, where we fall on.
What are the prices on the discontinued watches going to do?
A profit so far this year of 1,800 billion. Splendid.
The real questions.
Yeah.
Right. But we thought we'd put it out there for all of you. So you have just a thought of what our opinions are as people who are kind of inside the industry and kind of see these trends and the way things move and things like that.
We've only seen photos, just like everybody else at this point, but that's not going to stop us from giving you our opinions. So I guess we'll start with some of our favorites from this year. And one of the ones that actually Robert and I both agree on is the all new, actually it's not really new, but sorry, the Rolex GMT all yellow gold on the Jubilee bracelet.
And the two-tone.
Yeah.
I'm putting the two-tone in there, and
okay.
I know it's not your favorite, but I think bringing back a classic model like that two-tone GMT, and they changed the bezel. It's not all black anymore. It has the black gray two-tone, which I think is a nice move on their part.
It is.
I think it just makes sense for Rolex, not that they're resting on their laurels, but to go back to the things that made them who they are. Anyway.
Sure, yeah. I mean, and I loved the CHNR, the root beer, the all rose gold. I really just kind of always loved that. But the all yellow on the Jubilee, it kind of satisfies like all of my, retired old dude in Boca.
We're moving right into Del Boca Vista.
It's going to be an absolute stunner in person.
And a Jubilee bracelet that's not going to go all saggy.
Yeah, exactly.
As you wear it, because the new ones now, they use so much material and they're so solid.
Yep.
You'll wear that for years,
right?
Without issue.
With no issue whatsoever.
Yeah,
right.
Definite hits.
Yep.
For me from Rolex.
Unfortunately,
I feel like the Crown had some misses this year as well.
Yeah, I know.
So the celebration dial. We've all seen the memes.
The Wonder Bread dial. Yes.
To me, I'm all about the colors. I get it. I get trying to make things more vibrant. I get trying to attract new audiences. This to me is just strange.
I don't get it either. I think it goes hand in hand with the day dates. I mean, I love a good Rolex stone dial. I think they did carnelian, turquoise, and aventurine maybe.
Yeah.
In different combinations with different metals. But man, they're not good with the the addition of diamonds on a bunch of them. The partial Roman numeral dials, and then the puzzle day date. Like it's a day date that displays neither the day nor the date. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I get what they're going for.
What were they going for?
It's a market that would not look at a day normally, right? So, and I agree with you. I'm not fighting you that it's something I would buy, because I definitely would not. But I think they're looking for that customer who looks at a day date and says, that's an old man watch. Because that puzzle piece with emojis and words of encouragement,
exactly.
Like the posters from your middle school gym.
Don't give up,
hang in there.
Oh, it's love on Peace Day. Like, I don't get it. Like, who do you see?
Your
whose
day
wrist do you see that on, though?
Oh, I don't know. Some celebrity. Somebody's going to wear it. You're going to see it on Instagram.
Some Bravo celebrity or something. Like,
probably.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And we can understand that, right? Like, as a brand, you have to move into these markets you don't occupy in order to expand your customer base.
Rolex doesn't need to expand its customer base at this point. They're the most recognizable brand on the planet.
They are.
They own 30+% of the Swiss watch market. Like, I don't know, weird. Totally
I agree.
Weird.
Those two things to me were so far out in left field. Like the lefty GMT seems like the safest watch in the world compared to everything else now.
Oh my gosh, that's like
I know, and people were losing their minds over that last year.
Right. That was such a huge deal. So
there you go.
Continuing on, unfortunately, with giving Rolex a little bit of guff. Man, I don't love the new Daytonas. I don't know, the metal ring around the ceramic bezel. I just don't like the way it looks. I don't like the shrunken surrounds on the subdial. I don't like the shrunken
that.
indices, really.
I don't mind the look of the metal piece around the ceramic. I think it's nice because it does harken back to those old ones. And same thing with the slimmer black ring. It brings me back to Zenith Daytonas. And especially I think they did there's an all gold champagne with the black rings, which looks like a Zenith, which,
I don't know if it's just because, I'm so used to the current, now the discontinued, last gen model that the new one, the new proportions just look weird to me. But so and then beyond proportions, the Platinum Daytona. So I think it's, it doesn't matter. The reference number doesn't matter. The new Platinum Daytona that now has a display back.
It's weird.
A Rolex sport watch should not have a display back. And, it's not like we're looking at some, horological masterpiece in there. It's a great, I think it's the 4131.
It's an upgraded caliber.
It's an upgraded caliber. It's a workhorse. It's a great movement. There's nothing wrong with it.
Right. It'll never break.
But you don't need to show it off.
No.
It just doesn't make sense. And just again, a sport watch from Rolex and a sport watch in general, it just doesn't need and shouldn't have a display
The display back's from the 1908.
That's
that
right.
New Cellini style
Actually
watch
really
they're
like that
making.
watch.
Excellent idea. I can't wait to see one in the metal. I think that's going to be really good. But I agree with you. It's weird on a Daytona. It feels like all the aftermarket stuff that people do, which is fine. But it doesn't feel genuine to the brand. It'll be interesting to see how the community kind of reacts to these. Because, if you're in my case and you're like, oh, that's cool because it looks like the Zenith, are you going to pay up for the new one? Or are you just going to buy a good Zenith?
Yeah, just buy a nice full set Zenith.
That's the tough thing, right? With doing those kind of things.
I mean, who knows? Like we said, we haven't seen these. We haven't handled these watches, so maybe we'll get them in and we love them. But I don't know. I don't think so.
So to move back now to brighter skies,
positive,
and things that we like.
Yep.
I was super impressed with the JLC Reverso Tribute Chronograph.
Yes.
I thought this was a really nice move from them. They made it in steel and in gold, which I think is excellent because, again, they just broadened that base for the customer who might want to get that watch. And you get both a very traditional looking Reverso Tribute dial, and then you flip it over and you get the skeletonized chronograph dial.
It's beautiful. And so in addition to the chronograph, the tourbillon, obviously a totally different category,
right?
But the knock on the Reverso tourbillon, traditionally was that it was just ridiculously thick.
Oh, it's enormous.
And because, they tried to maintain, the traditional size, dimensions of, from width and height of the Reverso case, it just made it super just unwieldy on the wrist and just felt ridiculous. And it looked really weird as well. But now I think it's 9.5 millimeters thick or something. I don't even know how they did it, but it's just a ridiculous amount of watchmaking in a gorgeous watch. But we were just talking, before we started, before we turned the camera on about the Reverso chronograph. And I was shocked at how reasonable the price was as well, especially on the stainless steel. It's just
over 20K for that, which I think Jaeger's always been really good at this. They price their stuff well, and you feel like you're getting a lot of value at the price points that they do it at. It's never oh, it's really good, but it's expensive. It's always man, that's a lot of watch for the money.
Right. And just an incredible movement as well. I mean,
so one of those, not a lot of people have been talking about it, but I think that's a real hit of the show.
Yep. Next, kind of on the more positive train, I'm obviously, a sucker for Cartier, and especially Privé collection Cartier, old, new, whatever. And the Tank Normal, especially the yellow gold and the platinum on the bracelets. Yeah. Man, they are incredible. They're so gorgeous. They really kept the proportions from the original 1917 Tank, and just kind of updated it. It's a larger, more modern size, but not by a lot.
It's not like when they did the Santos 100s and the...
No, close.
Cartier, in my opinion, lost their way for a while there, and were making things that didn't connect with who they were and the rich heritage and tradition that was there.
What's interesting, though, is that I don't know if they didn't completely lose their way. It's almost like it was two different companies.
The Privé stuff was so good.
Oh, amazing.
And then the other stuff was
so bad. It was so bad. But so the proportions. So the original was 27 by 19 millimeters, and they updated it to 35 by 27.8. So really 35 by 28 roughly is not that big, but it has almost the exact same proportions as the original, which like why mess with perfection? It's just beautiful.
Right.
And that the satin finish on both the case and those bracelets, it's like
that's really good.
I don't even know what the name of that style of bracelet is with the, the very small rectangular links.
Yeah.
Just like, it's almost like a mesh.
It's somewhere in between like a mesh and a multi-link. Yeah. It's
super
they look
cool.
so good.
And they're only going to make 100, of each on the bracelet. So like, just make it.
But that's smart too, right? By making it smaller production like that, it makes it a better watch on the market. Yeah. So for the people who own it, it ends up being, a better experience there if you go to sell it or trade it. So I think limiting the quantity, as much as it might frustrate many people, it's ultimately better.
Yeah. I'm super excited. I'm super excited to see those in person. I'm like, really jacked up on that one.
So we have to talk about Patek.
Yeah.
And this year with Patek it's not my favorite year.
No.
And I'm a diehard Patek fan. It's our biggest brand here at the store. It's if you ask me to list favorite watches of mine, 7 out of 10 of them are Pateks. But this year, I don't know if it's just that they're not targeting, again, it's that idea, are they looking for a different customer base?
It really feels like Patek this year, that was what they were doing. I mean, and that's not to say, I mean, they did come out with a couple really incredible, super high-end horology pieces, was it the 5316, the platinum with the sapphire crystal, tourbillon, just like bonkers piece of watchmaking. But the other thing, a lot of the other things that we saw, it's just very out of character for Patek. And specifically, I think we're both kind of talking about the 6007s.
So when the original blue one came out, I liked it for what it was, the steel watch with kind of a very interesting dial. And there was a lot of kind of, we heard both sides on that. We heard a lot of people who liked it, and we heard a lot of people who thought it looked like a manhole cover. And it's always done well. It's been a well-desired watch. It's fared well on the market.
Yeah, it's done very well.
So now they've done it in black with the different accents. They've done it in white gold, which is much more traditional for Patek. But especially with that carbon fiber strap. Well, for me, it's like this watch is confused.
And also, so it's this very weird, like you're saying, to pick up on the confusion theme, we have a white gold case paired with a carbon fiber looking strap with stitching that matches the highlights on the dial. And it looks like an Omega racing dial almost. The detail. It's
those
just
old Omega dynamics.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, I mean, the yellow, like, I don't know.
It reminded me of those, and it reminded me of the older JLC compressors, because they used to do the same thing where they would have like the yellow accents and they do the yellow accents on the strap. And it's, obviously it's much more elegant than that. It's a completely different class of watch, but just from that pure aesthetic point of view, and I guess they're targeting that like dressy casual kind of thing.
I don't get it.
It's not for me. And it's interesting to see them release these like, amazing pieces of horological art, but then the quote unquote mortal watches that they make, and that 24-hour thing looks very cool, but at 42 it feels kind of big. So I don't know. I want to see them in person first, but first impressions for me, nothing like the last year was better with the 5226 and I can never remember it, the 5327. That travel time annual.
Yeah.
Those were
well,
fabulous.
The texture of the hobnail, all of that stuff.
Yeah, those were really good.
Whatever. I guess we're not withholding judgment, but we kind of will until we see them in person. So.
Yeah. Which I always recommend, because I have been surprised, even after doing this for 8 years now. I still get surprised sometimes when I'll look at something in the photos and I'll think, "Oh man, that's so great! I can't wait to get it." And then we get it, and I'm unimpressed.
I feel like we should run a disclaimer at the top of this video that says like we reserve the right to take back anything that we say in this video.
Oh, absolutely.
One more hit for me. I think we differ on this one, but the new Lange Odysseus chronograph. I think it's an absolute killer watch. It's Lange's first automatic chronograph. I've really come around on the Odysseus. I still can't stand the white gold on the strap, but the original, the steel with the blue dial, I think is gorgeous. The titanium, which no one has seen because Lange has delivered a handful of them so far since they introduced it last year.
Yeah. I don't even know.
I think that's super cool in theory.
I think this is a better execution. I think the idea of this watch as a chronograph like that is a better execution than the day date.
Yeah.
That they did originally. Sure. I think that's smarter. Again, I'm not the customer for that watch. If I'm going to buy a Lange, I want a Lange 1. I want, an 1815.
Yeah.
To me, that watch is just...
I think it's a very worthy addition. First of all, not even to the Odysseus line, but just to the Lange catalog. Though. Yeah. A super, super high-end automatic chronograph, which, I was kind of thinking first of all, the price point's going to be crazy. I don't think Lange's even announced it, but it's 100% going to be six figures. And
that would make sense. Most of because datagraphs are all six figures. Yeah. Anything that's got that level of complication now is up there.
But I was thinking about, other automatic chronos kind of in that world. And it's like the 5980, 5905. But I'm thinking almost pure chronographs. There really isn't a lot in that, you could say I
don't think Patek's ever done an automatic pure chrono. Right. It's always with a complication, like the annual.
Travel time, I'm just thinking even like a Royal Oak chrono, something like that. I don't know. This just has something really special. And I love the black dial with the red accents. It reminds me a lot of the 5960 with the black dial, the super short-lived reference. I don't know. I'm excited to see it in person. I like, the idea of the central minute counter, the no totalizer, no sub-dials. Yeah. It really preserves the original design of the Odysseus while adding a really incredible, new movement, complication, whatever. So I don't know. I'm excited about it. Yeah. Who knows if Lange will ever actually produce one and deliver it, but if they do and we get one, I don't know. Maybe I'll update my opinion. But yeah, I'm pretty psyched about it.
I can concede.
Okay, fine.
I can concede. So my last one I want to talk about that was a home run for me is the Panerai Radiomir California dial.
You really have a type.
I do. I have Panerai tinted glasses. I can't help it. So they did a couple of Radiomirs this year. They did, is it an annual calendar? Which, to be honest, I didn't pay any attention to because complicated Panerai has never done it for me.
Right.
That brand is...
Stay in your lane, Panerai.
That brand is about that hyper legibility, very simple, kind of purpose-built watch.
Right.
And the California dial has always been in the 47s. Which are really big and eliminate half the people who might want to wear that watch. So doing that in 45, and apparently the new 45 millimeter case is a little thinner.
You said that,
so it should be even more wearable. It has the wire lugs, and it just looks really good.
It does.
It's just that classic, super clean. It'll be a strap monster. You can put anything you want on there. It'll look really good. So it is a little pricey.
Really? I didn't even see what the price was going to be on it. What are they asking?
Like 9 or 10 grand.
No.
It's got an 8-day movement, I think.
It's the 8.
So it gives you that nice long length movement. It is now, the Panerai in-house caliber and all that.
Wow.
So I'll be interested to see it in real life. I think it's going to be a great watch.
Okay. Not 9-10 grand. Jeez.
Well, yeah. And I'll be interested to see what the price does on the secondary too. Yeah. Which way it'll go. And again, it depends, just like with the Lange and with everything else, it depends on that availability.
Sure.
Can you get it? Can you get your hands on it?
I'm going to go ahead and go on a limb here and say that Radiomir is going to be available before the Lange is, but that's a different story.
Apples and orangutans.
Yeah. Come on. All right. So our last, we're gonna end on a miss, unfortunately. But hold on, let me consult my notes for the name of this piece. So
good thing Justin did his homework because I would not remember this.
I did. So the Tag Heuer Carrera Plasma Diamant de Avant-Garde. If you haven't seen this one, please go look it up. I don't even know how to describe this. The first thing that we all thought of when we saw it was, I don't know if you remember, from one of the worst Bond movies, from one of the worst eras of Bond movies,
Your Mama.
Die Another Day with Pierce Brosnan. It's the one where Madonna sings the theme song.
Got your attention.
Which tells you everything you need to know. It's the one with the invisible Aston Martin, that one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
So, really top-notch Bond movie. The villain has diamonds that are embedded in his face. That's exactly what this watch looks like.
They're the same picture.
Yep. It's horrible. They're lab-grown diamonds, first of all, which...
And they advertise that.
Yeah,
they
I know.
advertise
I know.
that it's like 124 lab-grown diamonds, which I found really interesting. That they're
Which-
kind of putting that.
You would think okay, cool. Lab-grown diamonds. It's a tourbillon chronograph with a bunch of lab-grown diamonds on the dial. So like, okay, cool. Like it's some good watchmaking, and
But
you know
it
some.
says Tag Heuer on the dial.
You know, I've missed your sparkling personality.
How's that for a punchline?
Well, and the price. Do you know what this thing is gonna go for? Tag Heuer announced the price is going to be 500,000 Swiss francs. 500,000 Swiss francs for a Tag Heuer with fake diamonds on it. What are we doing?
Isn't this the same company that makes a tourbillon that you can buy for 20 grand?
Yes.
Right? Don't they also make that O2 tourbillon or something that you can buy
So
for 20
what the
grand?
hell?
So
Why
how
is
can
this
you
that
be
expensive?
the company that says, here's the most affordable tourbillon in the
Right.
world? To which I say,
I'm all-
bravo,
I'm
that's
all
your
for
target,
that.
right? That's
Exactly,
what you should do.
exactly.
But then to say, like, this is going to compete with a Patek repeater or a Lange, like you could buy a monster Lange
Yeah.
for 500 grand. I
Yeah.
can't even think of what they have that's 500, but like you could buy that Lange Grand Comp or something. Like that doesn't make any sense to me.
Who is going to buy
It doesn't
this?
make any sense.
Who's
and
gonna buy this?
It looks like a fashion watch.
Yes.
It looks
does.
like that Chanel that we all saw that's like half pixelated.
It looks
and
like
all
you
of
bought
that.
it at
It's
a
like
kiosk.
It's really weird.
It's
so
bizarre.
it again, that I don't think we'll ever see. Right?
No, I
That's
hope we
one of
don't.
those watches where you'll see it and you'll probably see it on the wrist of a few people, but you'll never actually see it
No.
in
no.
a store or
No.
something. I mean,
And I like we just said, like I have nothing against Tag Heuer. You know,
No.
like you just said, for essentially one of the cheapest tourbillons on the market. Like I'm all for that.
and we had one.
We
It's
did.
not a terrible
It's not
watch.
a bad watch, and also all the Carreras that they do, all of like kind of the more heritage inspired pieces, like cool.
That 39 mil glass box they came out with
Yeah,
this
yeah,
year
yeah.
with the
That was
reverse
nice.
panda.
That was nice.
That's a good looking watch.
It is. So no no shots at Tag Heuer, but like God.
Shots for that.
Yeah.
Shots for that. I
Not a
appreciate
fan.
reaching. I appreciate trying to do something and
Sure.
trying to be avant garde and
Yeah.
that. But to charge $500,000 for that, it's just I don't see it. I don't see the value there.
I don't either. But so that's what we thought. We kind of took the week to digest. All the new releases. I don't know. Well, like we said, we reserve the right to change every single one of these opinions that we just expressed. But we're looking forward to getting some of these in, to handling them, to showing them to you guys. So hopefully you enjoyed all the new releases and enjoyed listening to us bicker and banter and say some stupid things. So.
Please do share your thoughts with us in the comments. We'd love to know what you think are hits and misses from the show this year. As always, we hope you're enjoying the videos. We hope that you're liking and subscribing, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
I am getting dizzy. How now? More.
Well, you can't find good help these days.
Fired! Fired!
That's the third one this week.
Yikes. Oh, we've got that. God damn it. Amy.